What's up, ladies and gentlemen? How are y'all doing today? Hopefully, you guys are all having a fantastic hump day. Yeah. Apparently, this trailer for this Resident Evil documentary, this George A. Romero documentary, it hit yesterday. A few of my friends that know I'm a fan of Resident Evil sent it to me. I am a huge Resident Evil fan, but I'm not a George A. Romero guy, although I do. And I respect the fact that he was very influential on the Resident Evil franchise and zombie movies in general. So I'm kind of interested to jump in this documentary and see what happens because I'm a big fan of Resident Evil. I still remember being 13 years old when that first Resident Evil came out, and I remember going to Blockbusters and renting it. And if anybody was a gamer back then, if you didn't have a memory card, you were screwed. And I played through the game and I did not have a memory card. And I remember I got pretty far, like right when you were leaving the mansion for the first time, and I just didn't have a memory card to save. It was time to go to bed. I shut my console off. The next day I had to start all over again. The struggles of gaming back in the early 90s, I'm telling you. But anyway, guys, let's check out this documentary. I'm not really sure what to expect. Is this a documentary on the original Resident Evil? Is this a documentary on George A. Romero? I'm not really sure what we're going to get. So let's just fire this thing up and check it out, shall we? All right, here we go. Let's fire this thing up.
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
Yeah, they're dead.
Sounds like the music from the inside the man, or when you go into like the locker room and you have your ink ribbons and you have the Foot Locker where you put your stuff in. That's what that music sounds like. I'm gonna play it again. It sounds like the music from like the save rooms where you go and you save your ink ribbons to the typewriter and stuff like that. That's the music it sounds like.
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
Listen to it. I'm pretty sure that's what it is.
Yeah, they're dead. They're all messed up.
George's films literally changed the face of horror as we know it.
Bro, I about pissed my pants back in the day when that happened to me. So I had a TV, a CRT TV, and I had my headphones plugged into it, and the headphones were much different back in the day than they are today. And I remember just going through there with Jill and them just busting through the window, and I about pissed my pants because I had the lights turned off. It was like pitch black in the room, and I just about pissed my pants at that part in the game.
Capcom didn't hide the fact that the games were inspired directly by George Romero's films.
At that time, there was nothing more I wanted than a live-action Resident Evil movie.
And George is making Resident Evil.
And then suddenly, the plug was pulled on this.
Having him involved would have had the potential for him to leave a blueprint. How did we not get this?
You can tell he had misgivings about doing the zombie project with someone else.
This film just feels so much more gory, so much more violent, and so much more angry.
I think George really took things to the next level on that.
This guy knew.
I didn't know he was making a Resident Evil movie or was in the process of making a Resident Evil movie. That's news to me.
Resident Evil.
He would not sell his soul just to get a film done.
I think that they're buying you.
The Resident Evil series exists because of him.
He'll never be forgotten.
Remember, he wrote, "When there's no room in hell, I'll see you in Pittsburgh."
George A. Romero's Resident Evil.
Everyone's gonna die.
Huh. So that's news to me. I didn't know that he was trying to make a Resident Evil movie. And it makes a lot of sense if Resident Evil was really loosely based on what George A. Romero's old zombie flicks were. Like, he was like the godfather of zombie flicks. If Resident Evil was really taking a lot of influence from that, like, it would make sense that it comes full circle. George A. Romero would do a zombie flick or a Resident Evil movie. What could have been, really, when you look at it, like maybe George Miller's Justice League and George A. Romero's real Resident Evil movie, what could have been for those two films. And that's kind of crazy, man. It really, so I went in not really caring about this documentary, but now really caring about watching this documentary as someone who's a Resident Evil fan, because let's be honest, the Resident Evil movies we've gotten have all been trash. I still kind of defend that first movie, that very, very first one that was basically had nothing to do with Resident Evil other than it was like a hive under a mansion, and it was like basically Alice in Wonderland in the Resident Evil theme. But I can take that movie and say, okay, it's plausible that this could exist in the Resident Evil franchise. But then once they got to the second one and the third one, it just got more ridiculous. It became Fast and the Furious, and it became just a B movie popcorn flick, where the first one was really it was a good zombie flick, and you could see where it could live in the Resident Evil world. And then when they tried rebooting the Resident Evil movie a few years back, and they completely ruined Leon and Claire and all these other characters, and the whole movie looked like it was filmed on a backlot. Like, the production of it was just awful. It was just a trash movie. And then they tried rebooting it again, sort of, on Netflix with a series where it was canon, but it wasn't really canon. So it's like, I don't understand why it's so hard for Hollywood to get Resident Evil right. If there was ever a property that was the easiest property to adapt to the live screen, it's Resident Evil. It's the easiest property. Out of every video game franchise in the history of video games, Resident Evil is the easiest property to adapt to the big screen. And yet they completely drop the ball because they get people in there that doesn't know the source material, and they want to do something different with the source material. And it just, I don't know. But I'm really kind of looking forward to seeing this documentary now that I actually watched the trailer, got an understanding of what this trailer is going to be, or what this documentary is going to be. And I'm a big documentary fan, man. I can watch documentaries on stuff all the time. But anyway, guys, that's my thoughts on the trailer for the George A. Romero's Resident Evil documentary. If you guys are looking forward to it, please leave your comments in the comment box below. Also, guys, it's been kind of a slow week. If you guys have anything you want me to react to, you guys want me to comment on, talk about, listen in the comments below. Like, if there's a trailer or something you want me to react to, put a link in the comments. I'll check it out. Hit me up on Twitter. Do something so, I can get some content out there. It's been a very, very slow week. But thank you guys for watching. Thank you for sticking around this far. Until next time, as always, I'm Robert Storms, and I'm going to go play some video games, man. Later, guys. Peace out.